This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. President Trump tweets about sending National Guard troops to the southwest border. Facebook CEO is set to appear before Congress to testify about the Cambridge Analytica data grab.
Hello, and welcome to Matador News. I'm Brandon Benitez.
And I'm Zaira Garcia. This just in, an earthquake rocks a California island. Early reports centered in on the Channel Islands with a magnitude of 5.3. No reports of injuries yet, but we felt it here in the newsroom.
President Trump signed a memorandum sending the National Guard to protect the U.S. southern border. This decision came after a Fox News program said a caravan of around 1,000 Honduran migrants was heading to the U.S. through Mexico.
Until we can have a wall and proper security, we're going to be guarding our border with the military. That's a big step.
After the announcement, Trump tweeted saying the caravan was largely broken up. It's unclear how many troops will be sent or how much this move will cost. Many think the spike in border crossing attempts will lead to an increase in crime. The caravan is made up of mostly women and children aiming to flee from violence in their home country.
New information surfaces following the shooting at YouTube's headquarters earlier this week. San Bruno police say shooter Nassim Jaffe Agdam was seen at a shooting range before her attack on YouTube's Silicon Valley's campus. Investigators say she was frustrated with YouTube's censorship and monetization policies. She advocated for animal rights and going vegan on her channel. She claims YouTube filtered her videos to suppress her view count. The night before the shooting, police had found Agdam in her car close to the YouTube campus. The family knew she was disgruntled and believed she would do something drastic and tried to warn police. Agdam shot 3 people before turning the gun on herself. She had no connection with any of the victims. 2 of them were released from the hospital. 1 still remains in serious condition.
California's license program for undocumented residents surpasses 1 million drivers. Assembly Bill 60, which took effect in January 2015, requires the DMV to issue driver's license if applicants can prove their identity and their California residency, as well as passing a written and driver's test. As of this week, 1 million undocumented Californians have obtained licenses, renewable after 5 years. Then Assemblyman Luis Alejo, who wrote the landmark 2013 bill, says this is a win for Californians. Alejo says 1 million families can now drive to work, take their kids to school, or go see a doctor without a fear of getting their car impounded. Alejo says their lives are better and the state's roads and highways are safer for everyone.
New York City police officers fatally shoot a man after mistaking a metal pipe for a gun. Officers say they received multiple 911 calls describing a male black man pointing a silver firearm at people on the streets of Brooklyn. 4 officers arrived on the scene. Police say the suspect took a 2-hand shooting stance, which led officers to fire their weapons. The suspect, later identified as 35-year-old Sahid Vassal, was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Eyewitnesses to the incident started shouting at police and protesting immediately after this latest police shooting.
A U.S. Air Force Thunderbird pilot was killed when his F-16 jet crashed at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. The U.S. Air Force says the crash happened during a morning routine training. The pilot's identity is being withheld pending next of kin notification. The team's scheduled show at March Air Reserve Base in Southern California has been canceled. The F-16 crash is a third for a Thunderbird jet in the past 2 years.
A body recovered this week from a river in Atlanta has been identified as a U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention epidemiologist who vanished in February. Atlanta Police Department spokesman Carlos Campos said that 35-year-old Timothy Cunningham was found in Chattahoochee River in northwest Atlanta. Police say Cunningham was last seen February 12th, shortly after he was passed over for a promotion. The disappearance prompted a high-profile search and $10,000 reward for clues.
A 20-year-old art center student attempted to extort money from her family with a fake kidnapping attempt. Pasadena police say a call came in around midnight Wednesday from a mother reporting her daughter had been kidnapped. The mother said the student's father, living in China, had already paid about $85,000. The student's mother reportedly received phone calls from alleged kidnappers and was able to speak to her daughter. Police say a photo was also sent to the mother showing the student bound and gagged inside a hotel room. Eventually, officers determined that the student was in a motel room, alone and uninjured. Police say the student admitted she took the photo herself in an attempt to extort money from her family. The student, identified as Yimei Wang, was arrested for extortion and later released on bail.
Stress, a college student's least favorite word. Sandy Chavez has more in the newsroom.
Stress, something we deal with a little too often. Knowing how to manage stress can benefit your entire life. CSUN students gave us the scoop on ways they release stress on campus.
I like to go to the SRC and play basketball because ever since I was little, I love playing basketball. And sometimes, being at school, stress could be overwhelming and it could affect life and health.
Yeah, I like walking around. I listen to my iPod or iPhone. Go to the computer lab.
The SRC allows students to release stress through exercise, which includes swimming, rock climbing, and the Oasis Wellness Center provides a zen-like environment to relax and lockers for students to store their belongings. There is also a prayer and meditation room located at the Student Union Center. It even has a washroom for students who are required to wash before prayer. One of the most important skills one can learn is a right way to manage stress. Now let's go back to Brian Berumen with the latest in business.
The number of people affected by the Facebook Cambridge Analytica data leak may be much larger than first announced. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg now says the maximum number of those affected could be as high as 87 million users. Starting April 9th, Facebook will begin alerting those users affected. Zuckerberg says the company's business model of user-targeted advertising will not change. And that business model will likely come under scrutiny when Zuckerberg testifies in front of the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives. The company is under investigation for its connection to the Russian influence during the 2016 presidential election and how users' personal information gets used.
Reality of a lot of this is that when you're building something like Facebook that is unprecedented in the world, there are going to be things that you mess up. And if we'd gotten this right, we would have messed something else up.
Zuckerberg is due to appear in Washington next week. China says it has its own list of U.S. products that it will put tariffs on. This is a direct response to the Trump administration's announcement Tuesday to put tariffs on $50 billion worth of Chinese products. Trump's economic advisor Lawrence Kudlow says China started it.
Everybody in the world knows that China has not played by the rules for many years.
Business groups are urging trade negotiations with China rather than tariffs. Now here's Bridgette Creamer with news on health.
Thanks, Brian. Junk food, tobacco, and other unhealthy products are now being taxed in some cities. Experts say this can have a positive outcome by decreasing smoking, drinking, and unhealthy eating habits. Avoiding bad habits can prevent diabetes, high blood pressure, and cardiovascular disease. Cities such as San Francisco, Oakland, and Boulder, Colorado tax about 2 cents per ounce of sugary drinks. Other cities are starting to consider similar taxes to raise revenues and help residents cut healthcare costs. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams is recommending more people carry a drug overdose antidote with them at all times. Naxalone, which is available over the counter in most states, can save lives. The drug quickly revives a person's breathing and when it is injected or sprayed into nostrils in time. It costs around $80 for insured Americans and is nearly free for people in public health programs. The public health advisory was issued at the National RX Drug Abuse and Heroin Summit in Atlanta this morning, the first advisory from a Surgeon General in 13 years. Carrying this drug on a regular basis would combat the opioid crisis in America, which killed 42,000 people in 2016. Now back to Brian with entertainment news.
Well, the creators of the hit Netflix series Stranger Things are being sued by a filmmaker who says they copied his idea. Charlie Kessler made a short film called Montauk in 2012 that he says he showed to Stranger Things creators the Duffer Brothers. Kessler says that when he saw the popular Netflix show in 2016, he saw it copied many of the elements from his film. The Duffer Brothers say they've never seen Kessler's film and that he had no part in the creation of Stranger Things. So new movies are coming out this weekend. Blockers, The Endless, and A Quiet Place. Blockers is about a group of teenagers planning to lose their virginity at prom, directed by the writer of Pitch Perfect. WWE star John Cena plays a dad to one of the teens. And make sure your phone is off if you see A Quiet Place, a thriller where a family of 4 tries to survive from beasts that kill anything that makes noise. The film's theme is, if they hear you, they hunt you. Other releases this weekend are The Miracle Season, Lean on Pete, and Lowlife. Now let's go to Matador News reporter Nicole Martinez in the newsroom, who went on campus to ask students what 5 words they would use to heal the world.
This morning, a trending topic on Twitter was, what 5 words would you use to heal the world? I spoke to some CSUN students, and this is what they said.
To heal the world, I'd say live life to the fullest.
I would use to bring peace, unity, and happiness to all.
Be kind to everyone you meet.
Always stay true with yourself.
Be like a proton, stay positive.
Then they explained to me why they used those specific words.
I think it's important to always branch out and always try to live life with a conviction.
Because we can always use a little bit of kindness.
If you pretend to be someone else, you're not going to be surrounded by people that actually love you.
I think we need to spread positivity around CSUN campus overall and just get rid of all the negative ideas.
My 5 words are, do what makes you happy. Now back to Bridgette with the latest news in sports.
The Western Conference teams are fighting for a spot in the playoffs, including the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers have 4 games left in the season. Tonight, they play the Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets on Saturday, the New Orleans Pelicans on Monday, and the LA Lakers on Wednesday. Clippers have a tiebreaker advantage over the Nuggets, but a disadvantage against the Jazz and the Pelicans. To increase their chances in making the playoffs, they would have to beat all 3 of these teams. The playoffs begin April 14th. The Cavaliers, Celtics, 76ers, Heat, Pacers, Raptors, Rockets, Trailblazers, Warriors, and the Wizards have all secured their spots in this season's playoffs. The Lakers are out of the playoffs, but they won last night and follow through with what their coach wanted them to do from the start, to play as hard as they can and to play for each other. Kyle Kuzmin ended up lying on the ground in the middle of the court after playing 43 minutes against the Spurs last night. He averages more minutes per game than any other NBA rookie. His teammates helped him up and he kept fighting through with the 1 minute left in the game. The game ended up tying and went into overtime, but Lakers beat the San Antonio Spurs 122-112. Luke Walton, the Lakers head coach, said he is proud of his players. Baseball season kicked off this last week and the Dodgers are having a rough start. First against the Giants, only winning 2 of the 4 games. This was followed by the Dodgers being swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks last night, 3-0 with 15 outs. It is the Dodgers' worst start to a season in 20 years, losing 5 of their first 7 games. Some reasons for this rocky start could be the absence of Justin Turner, the infielder who is out for at least a few more weeks with a broken wrist. The Dodgers still have the whole season, and Angelonis are hoping they make a turnaround. Now, let's hear the latest on weather with Zaira.
It's a cloudy day today in Northridge. Expect peaks of sunshine and a high of 75 degrees with a low of 55 degrees. The clouds are here to stay for the weekend, and there might be a chance of rain.
A Texas high schooler wins big. Not 1, not 2, but 20 colleges have offered him a full ride. "17-year-old Michael Brown now has to make a big decision in the next few weeks. Yale, Princeton, Stanford, Vanderbilt, among others, not only offered full rides, but also invited him to join their student government. Brown says his inspiration comes from his mother, who works 2 jobs to make sure he can dream big.
I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful. I'm very happy for him. I'm excited for him because he has worked very hard.
Brown says he feels very fortunate and that this is a testament to his hard work and dedication. Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Brandon Benitez.
I'm Zaira Garcia.
I'm Bridgette Kramer.
And I'm Brian Berumen.
Good job, guys.
Nice job, guys. That was good.
thought I was reading that faster than 50.